Welcome to this webinar on Schedule Excel. My name is Colton Haney. I am a Senior Technical Specialist at ATG USA. And I just wanted to talk to you guys and show you guys the Schedule Excel tool offered by CTC. So first, let's talk about what we're actually going to look at today. The first thing we want to look at for sure, I believe, is why are you even here? Let's discuss the reasons that you may want to use Schedule Excel. For me and for a majority of users, that, as far as I'm aware, it's for linking Excel spreadsheets into your Revit model. You can use other spreadsheets as well, but I think a majority of everyone's using Excel. We're going to look at what Schedule Excel actually is and what it can and can't do. We'll look at the Schedule Excel user interface and how it works. So when you do open it, you know what you're looking at and you know what all the buttons do. And then I'll give a demonstration on using it to create and manage some schedules and link them into the Revit model. So why do you want to use this tool? It helps you easily create, format, and customize schedules. It's personally, my time working with Revit schedules, I really don't like using Revit schedules, and I'm much better suited to working in Excel. It's just a lot easier to me. So that's one of my reasons that I think we should be using this tool. But some other issues with using Revit schedules, the way they're built in, is there's often issues with parameters within families not scheduling right, and it can make building these schedules difficult. And through CTC, we actually have another tool also that can help alleviate some of that. If you are wanting to use Revit schedules, we've got other webinars on that, and I'm sure we will cover it in the future. But that tool is called Parameter Jammer. We're not going to cover that in today's webinar, however. And then there's some limitations on formatting and customization of the schedules within Revit. And then even when you do kind of get into that customizing the schedules, it can be a little difficult to get it to look the way that you want it, but it's much easier to do within a spreadsheet. And then in a lot of cases, it can be much faster to add information to a spreadsheet than a Revit schedule. Working with Revit schedules, you have to go down the list and enter all the information individually if you're doing text-based. And then if you're not doing text-based, some of the information may not look right or not look the way you want it to. Whereas in a schedule, you can go and type it in, extend it down, and there you go. You just filled in 20 cells on your schedule. That's just some reasons that I think that I like using the Schedule Excel with the spreadsheets. And then some other reasons, you don't have to use Revit to work on the schedules. Say maybe you've got an intern that you want to look at the schedules, or you're not familiar with Revit, but you need them to either update the schedules or review them. You don't have to open Revit. And some reasons that can even be helpful is Revit licenses are expensive, and some firms only have so many. They don't have one for every employee. But you can open up the schedule and work on it or look at it without having to use Revit. And then it also eliminates having to create the information multiple times. A lot of people use the spreadsheets and build schedules out through those to begin with, and then later come in and add the information into Revit or into the project. Well, if you can just put the Excel spreadsheet into the Revit, you don't have to create that content twice. And then say you need to send it to somebody to review it. When they send it back with their changes, you don't have to enter it again. You can just add it into the project or update it. It's a lot faster and it's a lot easier to work with. So what is Schedule Excel? It's effectively, it's a more powerful replacement for the older tool Spreadsheet Drafter that CTC used to offer. It basically is just letting you create a link between a spreadsheet and a Revit schedule. It's part of the Revit Express tools from part of the BIM project suite. This tool also allows you to create schedule views from a single worksheet, or you can bring in multiple worksheets from either a single spreadsheet or multiple spreadsheets. And then there's quite a few different spreadsheet software that's supported, because you just have to bring it in as a .xls, a .xlsx, or a .xlsm. So you don't necessarily only have to use Excel. You could use Google Sheets and then just export your spreadsheet as one of those formats so that you could bring it into Revit using Schedule Excel later. It also, with Schedule Excel, you have the option to have automatic updates. It works the same way as linking in a .dwg or linking in a .rvt file into your model. And so as long as the user, whoever opens the model, if they have Schedule Excel installed, then it will automatically update these LinkedIn spreadsheets as well. So if you have them on a schedule or drafting view, it'll automatically update those the same way linked CADs and linked models will. And it allows you to maintain your formatting you've created in Excel or your spreadsheet software. You can customize it and combine cells. You can add, say you want to make this one of them bold and so on and so forth. You can keep that when you bring it into Revit. You're not limited to just what you would be able to create using a Revit schedule. And just some popular uses that a lot of people have used this tool for: making abbreviations lists, making keynotes lists, making their general notes, obviously schedules. It's just a lot faster to put in this information in a spreadsheet than it is in a Revit schedule. And then it's also even faster to say if you need to update a lot of it at once. And then as Spreadsheet Link and Schedule Excel, they pair very well together. Spreadsheet Link is another tool that CTC offers. It allows you to export Revit data into a linked spreadsheet. And then you can use that information in your spreadsheet. Say you want to do some calculations, or you need to pull out information from certain families to put into your spreadsheet that you're making your schedule off of. You can pull it out of Revit and then use Schedule Excel to pull it back in. And Spreadsheet Link allows you, as some popular uses for pairing those tools are, again, easily create, format, and customize the schedules. But now you can do that with content, with Revit data, which can help you automate some calculations, things like that. Some popular uses for that include building out your electrical panel board schedules, or I've heard of people using it for making automatic plumbing fixture calculations for their water closets, drinking fountains, lavatories, things like that. So at this point in time, I would like to pull up a Revit project and show you guys a little bit about the tool, the interface. So when you have your project open, you'll go to the CTC Software tab and then find your BIM Project Suite panel. And then it is a dark green add-in. The dark green means that it is a paid tool. The lighter colors are the free tools. And then when you click on that, it'll open up this dialog box where you can add in, say you wanted to create a new spreadsheet, you can add it here. You'll be able to update it if you still have it in its location, or say you have your intern looking at it, they can update it when they open up the project if they have access to the spreadsheet that is where it's linked, as well as have Schedule Excel installed. You can edit it. You can change the path. So you moved the folder, or you moved the spreadsheet that was in that folder, or you can find it, replace it. You can update everything or update just one. You can remove them. You've got some options here where it can remember the size and position of the windows. You can enable auto updates, or you can make it so that it doesn't automatically update, but you can commit. It'll be manually controlled for you to update it. And in that case, you can turn on a warning that'll pop up that will Revit will through the tool, Revit will give you a warning that shows that your spreadsheet was updated, but it was not updated in the model. So it'll tell you something's changed in the spreadsheet and that you may want to update in the model. And then you can manipulate your default settings, use only print area on each worksheet, so only the stuff that actually has content in it. You can make it so that it automatically comes in with auto update, and you can make it maintain schedule cell sizes and updates. So if you update, or if you pull in a spreadsheet and then you manipulate it within the Schedule Excel tool in Revit, say you need to make a cell larger so you can read everything, it will keep that size whenever you update it with the information on the spreadsheet. So whenever you work on the information within Revit, within the Schedule Excel tool, it does not push it back to the spreadsheet that is saved on your drive or your server. So you can make it so that changes are not overridden when the information is updated. And then you can also choose that you want to bring the schedule in or the spreadsheet in on a schedule view or in a drafting view. Then you've also got your help, your videos that'll link you online so that you can learn more about the tool and how to use it, tech support, license information, things like that. So now that we're a little more familiar with the interface, let me show you an example of using it. So I've got just a generic architect template project open. I haven't added anything. It's just how the template comes in, except for that I have added this one sheet for a room finish schedule. And as you can see, there's nothing on it right now. I'm just using default Autodesk title block. So I'm going to go to CTC Software, then Project Suite, Schedule Excel. And just for example's sake, let's say the architect sent me a room finish schedule that they want me to add to the model. So I'll click on this Add button, and it'll pull up the spreadsheet, just a blank spreadsheet, where I can either enter all the information, or I can go up here and hit Open, and I can bring in my schedule that they sent me. And as you can see, it fills in all that information. Alone trying to put that into a Revit schedule would take forever. But you can also see here, it pulled in all of the worksheets off of that spreadsheet and kept them separate. So now I can choose which spreadsheets that I want to bring in, or which worksheets from that spreadsheet that I want to bring in. I can bring just the one that's active, or what I'm going to do is I can choose to pick multiple, and I'm going to go ahead and bring all of these in. I want them to be created as new views, and I want them to come in as schedule views. So now I hit OK. And you can see that window popped up telling me that it was bringing them in and updating them. And now, so back at the Schedule Excel dialog box, you can see all of my worksheet names. And you can see that they are all up to date. They're in the model now. So let me close this. And now you can see I've got schedules in here as well. And it maintained all my formatting where I've combined these cells, and I can come in here and I can edit stuff if I want to. But it kept all my formatting where I've merged them, things like that. So let's go back to that sheet. And let's put this on this.
I think you're getting feedback, Colton.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I think I'm having a little bit more technical issues, but let me put the schedule in here. And as you can see, it is way too big. It's not going to fit on this sheet, but that's no big deal. If it was a Revit schedule, it could be a little difficult to work on, but we're just going to come right in here to my Excel. And I know that from looking at it before, Auto Center is about the bottom of where I can get it to fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that section. I'm going to move it over to the side over here. Delete. Oops. No border. Top border. And merge all this so it doesn't come in. And you could make another worksheet within the spreadsheet for this, but I think I'm going to do it like this because I want to keep it all together. So as you can see now, I've got the other half over here. I'm going to hit save, and then we'll go back to the Revit model. We'll go back into Schedule Excel. And I know I just made those changes to the room finish schedule. So I'll click Update. You can see it says it was updated successfully. And when I get out of here, now it is spread across. And it reflects the changes that I just made in my Excel spreadsheet. Then I can go ahead and I can add in all these other ones as well. I'll have to put that one on another sheet because it doesn't fit, but I can get all these in here. Now, I can also see here some of the information I've entered. I didn't edit the cells, and so it doesn't fit. But that's no big deal. I don't necessarily have to go back into my Excel spreadsheet. I can do those changes right here, real quick. And it needs to open just a little bit more, and then OK. Yes, I want to save it. I think that I am having issues with that. Please correct me if I am wrong, Sean, but I believe that is because I have all this stuff linked off of Dropbox. And that's why it's giving me this error where it's used in a dual process. We'll just do a save as. So I will just call it, oops. Two pieces because I split it. Okay. So now I can hit OK. And now it will update it. And we'll go back up here, and as you can see, now everything fits in that one column. And you can go through and do all those real quick. It wouldn't take very much time. So let's say now that I've got this in here later down the road, the owner found a tenant for one of their spaces that they've got model, or one of their spaces they've got available. And so now the architect has given me a new schedule with updated, it's removed the tenant space label and also added the rooms that the tenant will need. So rather than having to go through and manually change all that or work on it through the Revit schedules, I can come back into Schedule Excel and I can right click on this room finish schedule and I can hit change file name or path. So here's the one they've updated and sent to me, and that is fine. And so now when I hit update, it gives me the updated everything. We'll go ahead and update these while we're in here. Okay, so everything's up to date. And now let me try that one more time. I don't know why that did not work. Change file name or path. We'll change it to the updated one. And then we will hit update. Okay, that looks like it did at that time. And yes, now you can see the tenant space number 2 is gone, and now we have a section for Wilson Bank with the 3 rooms that they needed. And as you can see, this greatly speeds up so many things that I personally have had issues with working on. I'm sure I'm not the only one. And it grants wishes that I'm sure all of us have had since learning Revit is, I wish I could bring in an Excel spreadsheet. Well, with Schedule Excel, now you can. And again, this is just to reiterate, Schedule Excel allows you to link spreadsheets into your Revit model, and they can update automatically the same way that they would as a DWG or a .RVT model. And this, because now you can work on it within the spreadsheet, you can work on it within Revit, you can work on it outside, somebody else can work on it and send it to you. It allows for a lot of ease of creation, formatting, and customizing these schedules in ways that you could not using just the way Revit is. And I think all of that together, it's really going to increase anybody's productivity. I mean, you can see how fast you can go through some of this stuff and without having to recreate content or without having to make the content twice or take a lot of time to update it. That's going to give you more time for other stuff.